Why political cartoons always fail? Like good 95%. There is a rare 5% is super successful, like F for Family, King of the Hill, Boondocks, Young Love. Those cartoons, whatever you think of them, they still are kind of political. But the main thing is why those are successful is for one specific thing. The political part is not the main dish, it's a side dish. And it's something maybe focus on maybe a sort of thing for a specific character and that's it. And they just use the character in different ways, but never use the same political point over and over again. Because once more, you're thinking about the character with their opinion, not their politics. Their politics almost is sort of a reflection of their personality or at least understanding of things around them. And that's how you do good writing. You understand the character of a cartoon is a character, not a mouthpiece. And that's how you make a very interesting show to watch, at least attempted to watch. Now, let me show you the reason why, or at least breakdown of the reason why political cartoons, the bad ones, why they actually fail. Of course, before I continue, my name is Rachel. I like to talk about animation, not just animation, reviews, first impressions, cartoon theories, and sometimes, if I have some spare time, cartoon breaking news. Of course, you'll like how it's going, like to help my channel, pull like, comment, and subscribe. That's the only thing you need to do. Of course, if you don't, that's fine too. If you do, thank you. Thanks to you, I passed my goal to 1,000. Now I getting my new goal to 2,000 subscribers. Because thanks to everybody who put like, comment, and share. And I think I have nothing else to say, just thank you for all the support. And now let's start with the video. Now, one of the biggest issues for political cartoons failures, and usually the first thing is sort of insert themselves into the character, at least the main lead. You can and does work sometimes, but usually people who write or create a show put their opinion in the character. Usually it's a secondary character or end of the whole franchise sort of situation. Because at the very end, you're not there for them, you're there for the character. Because they focus on their politics, ask that question, who are they? And that sort of kind of misunderstand the whole show or making a character. And this is the reason why they sort of fail, because you keep putting your opinion instead of putting their opinion, the character's opinion. And that's just sort of the problem of cartoons, because they keep doing that over and over again, never really learning what actually went wrong. Now, the second thing is so interesting is what it keeps failing is the fact putting political things in a cartoon. Yeah, I mean just general. I mean sort of kind of forcing the political point first instead of running a joke or a story. It became more I don't like this or this is my opinion while actually saying what is the joke, what is the storyline, what connects to what to end and begin a whole series to convince you to watch the whole episode. Because to grab someone's attention, you only have 3 seconds to do a joke, 30 seconds to prove you're likable a character, and 3 minutes to convince them to watch the whole series. Because at past the 3 minute mark, you actually convince them to finish the whole series, or at least they'll finish the first episode and get it another second chance. That's what you do, tempted to convince someone to watch your show, because their answers, their the opinion of the character, what they do, and that is just interesting because every time they focus on the political part, they just focus the political, and that's the thing. We're not here for the political, we're here for the character, and that's usually the main problem. Now, also have another problem. They sort of forget to do a joke. Like some reason, this is the most interesting and fascinating thing about political cartoons. At least at the 95% of them that fail, they just focus on the politic, not the joke. And that sort of confuses me because most of political cartoons are professional made by comedians. And they know how to set up joke and push a punchline. And yet they do not set up a joke or put a punchline in. It just say what they think while actually doing a joke. And that just sort of fascinates me. How here you messed up something so simple that is your main job. Put a joke in doing the show, at least one or two jokes, but you don't. And that just sort of fascinates me. It feels like political cartoon is almost like kryptonite to comedians because every single time they do something like this, it just sort of forgets to do a joke. It's just super interesting. Now, there is another thing it just kind of found kind of fascinating. Every time a political joke or show was made, they just put too many subject matters in once. To compare to South Park, they only focus on one subject matter or one politic issue, or two, depends. Part A or Part B are very similar sometimes. They connect to one political thing, or two, to get side to side. And that usually the formula to make a good entertaining content. But political cartoons have a habit of choosing so many things at once that none of them connect. It sounds more complaining of a list than actually telling a story. Yeah, that's just sort of interesting because you will never seen that only in political cartoons. It just kind of fascinates me why they keep doing this again and again. And now, honestly, there's also other things that just feel sort of interesting that none of them realize every time they do a political joke, it's political joke that has been done hundreds of times, especially in political anything, because anything political sort of becomes outdated in days. Because this is a cartoon. Cartoon lasted maybe 2 to 3 years to actually make. Even that 2 3 years is a fast time. A really good hardworking cartoon who actually figures out how to make something entertaining takes several years. Take sometimes the 7, sometimes it takes 12 years to make a show work. At least the first season one to realize what to do, what works, what doesn't work. And political cartoons, they did so fast sometimes because they feel the joke will be irrelevant. It's because there is. This is the reason why no one wants to do political anything comedy because political anything becomes outdated instantly. The only people who actually pull this off is South Park because they have 7 days to do an episode. So it's that 7 days they can easily pump out that specific political thing in that week. So the joke stays irrelevant. But even that, they make sure sometimes the political subject matter they focus on is sometimes a metaphor because sometimes a metaphor can actually last longer than the political joke that only lasts a few days. And that's sort of the smart way to pull this off. You sort of kind of like the metaphors. Now, this is the other thing I found kind of fascinating. They sometimes focus on basically nothing. Yeah, there's like for example, Mr.birchum or the new norm. I think the two hottest topics of this couple of months is the fact every time they do anything political, they just sort of forget to say anything or to be funny. And that's sort of interesting because the whole point is being adult comedy. Adult comedy usually is sort of edgy, and yet they say nothing. And they try to say, yeah, we are edgy, but you're not. And that's just sort of interesting because it's not the first time. Because Velma, that's another political cartoon that Velma doesn't really does the same thing. In fact, Velma is the only one you could say is sort of kind of edgy, but even that just giving too much credit because it's not. It's just sort of regurgitating the same thing you hear on Twitter over and over again while adding nothing new. And that's sort of the problem because if you want to say something about anything political, you need to have a new take that know what it actually says. In fact, YouTube is a perfect example of that because if something goes very popular or very viral, everybody try to make a video essay or video commentary of that. But after you watch 2 or 3 videos and start the same comments over and over again, and that's the reason why every time I do a very specific video of a specific matter, even that is super popular, I try to think of a very unique way to approach it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but at least I try something different because at the very end, nobody will watch the same video again and again after the third time or fourth time. Depends on the person, in other words. Now, another thing I found them sort of interesting in political cartoons is sort of how many times they sort of misunderstand the subject matter while actually doing their actually homework. Specifically, more Velma, that every time Velma trying to do something political, they sort of misunderstand the political points, what they're trying to say, instead implement it in the show the way this looks or sounds kind of funny. And that just sort of fascinates me because you have a group of people writing a script or at least showing your script to other people and they think, yeah, this seems right. Well, actually really studying doing your homework numbers, like studying, looking up, seeing professionals what they're actually trying to say. Even that I say, like me, I'm Latino. If I make a sort of subject matter by Latinos, I have to do my homework. Even that I think I know it, is there some chance I probably misunderstand it? So you have to look it up to really understand the subject matter in a different point of view to understand what's the misunderstanding and what they're trying to say. And that's just fascinates me so much because every time political cartoons focus on the subject matter, it happens again and again, sort of misunderstanding it. It just sort of wild. Actually, this keeps happening. Now, I think one more thing that makes this sort of semi interesting is the fact nothing really, people don't really learn from it. And I feel that's sort of kind of fascinating. Like, somehow they think that the one who can change everything, but some reason they keep forgetting to make a show. Even that they hire people specifically understanding making shows. And that just sort of kind of fascinating. I don't know. You did not notice that people don't stop saying, something is sort of wrong here because nobody is helping each other, figuring out we're doing the same mistakes over and over again. I thought that's sort of fascinating. Of course, that's just me. I I think I said everything what needs to be said. I'm trying to think of anything I missed specifically. Yeah, I think I answered almost everything because usually that's all what political cartoons try to do. There's a small handful does work. I think the only one it kind of works pretty well, even is sort of ended a couple years ago. If for family, I think one of the biggest example of all of them that I sort of still fresh in my mind because it was political, but specifically the 70s political and the changes would happen that during that time. Even that who made that show, it was a comedian. That comedian, you could say he was sort of uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Very close-minded, minded that he's not used to the change of many different things. That sort of freaks out, but he never really put his mouthpiece in the main character because the whole show is not about him. It's about his father, his opinion, his reaction of the things is changing around him, and that's why it really stuck in my head. If it's a family, the reason I'm talking about that partly because I will make a video. I don't know when, but I will make a video like ripping off Norman or something like that. I do a sort of segment focus on that. I could probably talk about that video later on, but I don't know when. But you get the idea. There is actually good political cartoons, but usually they never focus on the main thing. They focus on the characters sort of changes around them and how they approach it. And that's the way to do a political cartoon. I'm more amazed that nobody really attempted to copy it for Family, Boondocks, King of the Hill, or the Young Love, because all four cartoons are very political, but not the same political. They have different angles, different races, different time periods to actually focus on that and build on that, and also reacting to the characters, not the writer's point of view. And that's how you do a good political cartoon. In fact, do I miss something very specific? Tell me down below if I missed something that I kind of glance you. Do you think I needed to talk even more? Tell me down below. Let me know. Honestly, I got nothing else to say. Just thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.